Hello, how are you today? My name is Charles Webster Bear, and I'm in Redmond, Oregon, USA. And today is December 29th, 2020. And my website is globalinternetgovernment.com. And today I want to talk about history, the history of the universe, the history of this universe, the history of this known universe, the history of this known physical universe. That's what I want to talk about. So, 15 billion years ago, the universe was created. Or 15 billion years ago, the universe expanded to a size that was large enough for humans to comprehend. Anyway, 15 billion years ago, the universe was an energy plasma made up of dark matter, dark energy. And this energy plasma expanded and cooled and formed quantum particles like bosons and neutrinos and quarks and photons. This energy plasma of quantum particles continued to expand very rapidly and cool and formed leptons and electrons and neutrons and protons. And then this energy plasma of protons and neutrons and electrons continued to expand and cool and formed hydrogen atoms. And these hydrogen atoms continued to expand and cool, and gravity acted upon some of them to form hydrogen clouds. And gravity continued to act on some of these hydrogen clouds, creating fission and fusion, creating stars. And gravity continued to act on some of these stars and form galaxies. And the universe continued to expand, and these galaxies continue to expand, and the universe is still expanding, and the universe is actually picking up speed, and these galaxies continue to expand with the universe. And 5 billion years ago, the sun was created. And the leftover stuff was the planets, and they orbited around the sun. And one of those planets we like to call Earth. And Earth was a lava blob. The outside of it cooled and formed the crust, and gases escaped and formed the oceans. And then about 4 billion years ago, life was created by accident. Just a random mix of chemicals and mud and extreme temperatures, and this life was like a bacteria, and the bacteria reproduced, and the bacteria mutated and evolved into algae, which used photosynthesis to create the atmosphere. And then this algae formed more mutated and evolved and formed more complex plant life in the ocean and on the land. And then these plants evolved and became fish, which evolved into reptiles, which evolved into mammals, which evolved into monkeys, which evolved into apes, which evolved into humans, which evolved into robots, which will evolve into more advanced forms of life, and then go on to colonize the universe. The end. And that's the history of the universe. So let's back it up here a little bit. Let's back it up about 3 million years. And we've got humans being created, Homo erectus, Homo sapiens, evolved from Homo erectus about 3 million years ago in southern Africa. Humans were created. And we had to make it through the jungle, and we did. And now we're in North Africa. And then about 100,000 years ago, humans left Africa and colonized the rest of the planet. And then about 15,000 years ago, we start to see farming, domestication of animals, agriculture, language developed. And then about 2,500 years ago, we see societies and civilization develop, advanced civilizations, modern civilizations. One of those civilizations was in Greece, and one of those civilizations was in India. Now, 2,500 years ago, the Greeks formed the foundation of Western civilization, which is still around today. I mean, that's where we're at today still. Science, philosophy, theater, math, democracy. The Greeks created all of that. And then the Italians borrowed it and took it to the rest of Europe. And 2,500 years ago in India, there was some dude a Buddha. And he was like, I'm dreaming. I think this stuff is here. And then I wake up and I realize I was wrong. So what's going on? What's the deal with that? How do I know if I'm dreaming or not? What's the deal? So he got all philosophical about it. And he came to the conclusion that my thoughts exist. I don't know if all this other stuff exists because I don't know if I'm dreaming or not, but I know my thoughts exist. So I'll call that the soul. And I assume all this other stuff exists, and if I'm right, great. And if I'm wrong, that's fine too. If all this other stuff exists, then great. And if all this other stuff doesn't exist, then the only thing I know exists is me, the soul. It's one or the other. It's not both. Either the universe exists and you're part of it, or the universe doesn't exist and you're the soul. So that's what Buddha figured out. And then this information traveled to the East, to China, where they were sophisticated and intelligent enough to understand it and created Buddhism. It also traveled west to the Middle East, where they were not sophisticated and intelligent enough to understand it. And they misinterpreted it twice. The first time was called Christianity, and the second time was called Islam. And then many shenanigans ensued. And many shenanigans continue to take place today. So, then we had the Middle Ages, then we had the Renaissance, then we had the Industrial Revolution, then we had technology, then we had America, then we had freedom, then we had the freedom of the press, and then we had the freedom of speech, and then we had equal rights, then we had a couple wars, and then we had the 1950s, and then we had the 1960s. And then in the 1960s, people started saying, you know, let's not kill Earth with human overpopulation. This was called environmentalism. And people were like, you know what? Let's not destroy the planet with human overpopulation. Let's choose the don't kill Earth option. You know, right now we're choosing the kill Earth option with human overpopulation. That's the wrong option. Let's do the other option. So people in the 60s talked about this, and people in the 70s talked about this. And in the 1980s, China actually did something to save the planet. China was the first country to ever, and the only country to ever do anything to save the planet. And it was called depopulationism. And it was the one woman, one child policy. And it was the correct policy for everybody. Unfortunately, nobody figured this out. And people still haven't figured this out. And so that's a problem. So when looking at the big picture, the question is, will humans kill the planet with overpopulation because we're stupid? Or will humans not kill the planet with human overpopulation and choose depopulationism because we're smart? That's the big question. And that's been the big question for, ever since the 1980s. And the answer appears to be humans are going to kill the planet because we're stupid. That's the wrong answer, but it appears, that appears to be what's going on. And it's unfortunate because, anyway, we got to work on that. We got to work on it now. But hopefully we will. So anyway, that's the history of the universe. And these are my paintings. There we go. These are my paintings. And they're for sale. This is New Mexico. And this is surf. And this is a hurricane and a galaxy. And so those are my paintings. And my name is Charles Webster Bear, and this is the history of the universe. And my website is globalinternetgovernment.com. And I'm in Redmond, Oregon, USA. And today is December 29th, 2020. So this is history. It's groovy. Please learn more about it. Please make your own video about it, Make your own video telling everybody what you think is history and what history is all about and everything. And make some history. And save the planet. And blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to get out of here. Thank you very much. Have a great year. Have a great 2021. And rock on. Peace.